Good day, everybody. It's Chris Gallagher again. We're in our study of Acts chapter 9. We're in our last day of our study in Acts chapter 9. We're going to talk about the Apostle Peter. We've spent a lot of time talking about Paul, and now we're going to talk about the Apostle Peter, all the great things that Peter is able to do as he shares the gospel. And we're going to pick up in Acts chapter 9 and verse 32. We're going to move through this text rather quickly. There's a lot of information that is here about Peter. Now, remember, at the same time this is happening to Paul, there's the other apostles that are going out into the world. And it says, now as Peter went from here and there among them, he came to a town and came to some saints who lived at Lydia. Lydia is also a person that we read about in the Bible, but also Lydia is a town, Lydda. And Peter finds some saints that are there, and it says, he found a man by the name of Aeneas. Aeneas was bedridden for 8 years, and he was paralyzed. So he finds in this town this man, and he's going to literally follow in the footsteps of Jesus. And we find out that Peter says, Aeneas, he says, Jesus Christ heals you, arise and make your bed. And immediately he arose. Now this is what's very interesting. Peter is going in and out of the brethren. He's going here, he's going there. He's traveling all over the place. He comes to this town. And apparently this man's been there. We know he's been there for 8 years. He's been bedridden. Or Peter heals him. But I want you to notice the scene that happens. We usually think, okay, he heals him and he moves on. But that's not what happens. In fact, notice this. It says, all the residents of Lydia and Sharon saw him and they turned to the Lord. Who did they see? Well, they didn't see Peter. They saw the man that was healed. And they turned to the Lord because that man was healed. And in his healing, he inspired other people to turn to God. The same thing happened with Paul. Paul was healed and he turned to the Lord. Okay, he was healed of his sight, but he was healed of his soul. And he was baptized, turned to God. So other people now are going to be healed and do the same thing. It has to do with influence. It has to do with who are we influencing as we go throughout all of our lives. Now, let's grab a greater point to that if we can, if you can, just for a moment. And the greater point is this. Verse 36. It says, now there was in Joppa, different city, so Peter's in Lydia, there is in Joppa a disciple named Tabitha. So here is a female, we know her as it says in the text, which is translated Dorcas. So there's somebody who's in another town, it's Tabitha translated as Dorcas. She was full of good works and did lots of acts of charity. And it says, in those days she became ill and she died. So it describes her as somebody who does good works and has a lot of charity, but she died. Now, you already know what's getting ready to happen, right? But look at the details of the event. Look at the purposeful details of this event. It says they had washed her and had laid her in an upper room for the period of mourning. That's what is happening. But it says since Lydia was near Joppa, the disciples, hearing that Peter was there, now they didn't have email, they didn't have Facebook, they didn't have social media. Did they hear because he healed the man and it just all started to spread? I believe that they probably did. Because it says when they heard that Peter was there, they sent 2 men urging him, come to us without delay. Literally, hurry up and come here. Don't talk, hurry up and come here. And we know that that's what they said, and that's all that we have. So Peter, sensing the urgency, apparently, it says he rose and he went with him, and when he arrived, they took him to the upper room. How did they know that Peter could heal? Did they hear about what happened in Lydia? Did they hear about what happened in Lydia and Sharon when this man arose? Surely that fame is going to spread, right? And when I say fame, please understand, it's not about the apostles. It's about the purpose of healing. Surely this is going to happen, and they are going to be able to be inspired and motivated and changed. They're going to be able to have that happen because of what is happening to, to their area, to their region. So they call for Peter, and when Peter gets with them, I think this is amazing. It says when they took him to the upper room, all the widows stood beside him weeping and showing tunics and other garments that Dorcas made while she was with them. So while Dorcas was alive, she was making all of these garments. She was performing acts of charity. She wasn't just a disciple, if I can use that term. Now just give me a moment. She wasn't just a disciple. She was an active disciple. I know we shouldn't have to say that. Sometimes we do. She wasn't just a Christian. She was an act-performing Christian. She was going out and doing acts of service, these acts of charity that we find out. And it says that Peter, he saw all this. He put all of them outside. He knelt down and he prayed. There's a lot in this chapter about prayer. Paul prayed, Peter prays. And it's an example for us as we are sharing the gospel. And it says, and he knelt down and prayed, and turning to the body, he said, Tabitha, arise. She opened her eyes, and when she saw Peter, she sat up. So immediately this is happening. This isn't over a 3 or 4 day journey. This immediately is happening. So she sits up. And it says he gave her his hand and he raised her up. Then calling the saints and widows, he presented her alive. So after she was healed, Peter says, hey, everybody come in here and look at this. So they come in and they see that she's been healed. In this chapter, you have three people, that are healed. You have Saul that's healed. Then you have Peter healing the man Aeneas, who was bedridden for 8 years. Then you have him healing Tabitha, also known as Dorcas. You have all of this. Now, here's what I want you to notice. It says in verse 42, and became known throughout all of Joppa, and many believed in the Lord. And he stayed in Joppa for many days with one Simon the tanner. So as a result of the works of God, the disciples are growing. The disciples are becoming strengthened. Now, how did God work? God worked through people. Now, granted, Peter did miracles and Aeneas did miracles, but God worked through people. Now, I personally believe the age of miracles is over. If it's not over, then why are there so many people that have, if the truly faith healers work, why do so many people still have ailments and diseases? You know, there's a point. The miracles are confirming the word of God. They were confirming everything that was there. And now you physically have people like us who are servants of God, who are going out and going to share the word of God and look to these examples. Not that we're going out and healing people. We're going out and sharing with them the gospel that's spiritually healing and changing their lives. God used people just as he can use us, and we can glorify him in our life. So as you dig through Acts chapter 9, think about all those people that God glorified. Think about how powerful their story is. Think about who they were and what they were able to do. All because they followed Jesus. An absolutely amazing work. But thank you for being with our study this week as we have gone through this. I hope that you have an excellent day today. I hope you have an excellent week. If there's anything we can do for you, reach out and go over to thepreacherspen.org. I would encourage you, if you haven't been to the Preacher's Pen, please do. Go out and check out all the things that we're able to do there and share that page with other people. We've had some page changes. There's going to be some more in the future as we are seeking to find an efficient format to share the gospel of Christ with the world. And we hope to do that. And you can be a part of that as well. But thank you for being a part of our Bible study. Give us a like. Hit that subscribe button on Rumble or YouTube, wherever you're watching this. And as always, have a great day. We look forward to talking to you soon. Be blessed.